Hello everybody, how are you doing? It is Monday night and I'm out in the shop, and I'm out here for a couple of reasons. Number one, I started a blank last night, one of the chevron blanks. It's a blank I've been working on. It actually came about by accident. Pretty neat though, huh? Take a look at that. It looks almost like it's 3D. What that is that it started out, let's just set it up like this. There we go. I want to make sure it's, there we go. I don't want it laying down because it's got glue that's coming out of it and it could potentially stick to the paper. But it started out being the chevron blank that I made a while back. And it looks like I've got walnut in the middle, and I believe that's mahogany, or I'm sorry, that's zebra wood on the outside and walnut in the middle. And then maple is the lighter color wood. And really I was just making some of these chevron style blanks, and I happened to scoot them side by side and noticed that it gave me kind of a cool 3D pattern. So I thought, here's what I'll do. I'll save one of the blanks, because if I grab a tube here, you can see that there's plenty of room to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blanks out of this. I'm going to make the zigzag go down the center of the blank. So I'm going to call them Charlie Brown blanks because it reminds me of the bottom of Charlie Brown's shirt. Although going down the pin tube like this, it's not going to end up looking like this. These are going to round out a little bit. They're going to be curvy, and it should give a nice pattern down the center of the blank. The cool thing is I went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks to now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blanks. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to have some extra blanks to mess around with. I hope these turn out. I am recording this, but like I said, it just looks really cool. And it was an accident. I just slid them together and saw that and thought, whoa, that looks pretty sweet. So we're going to do one. I'm going to prep this here in a few minutes to turn, and we'll see how these turn out, and we'll get them prepped once the glue is dry. I don't know if I'll work on that tonight. I may do a little bit of glue up on the inlaid checkerboard blank. Here's another pin blank that I've been working on. This is all an experiment. These checkerboard patterns will be glued together to form a single blank, and then I've got some Padauk that I will glue to the outside of, I'll have to clean them up a little bit, but I'll glue Padauk to the outside on both sides of the blank, so the checkerboard will be sort of an inlay within the Padauk, and then I can take this pin blank, or I'm sorry, this pin tube, drill it right down the center. We'll be able to turn it, and we should get a pretty neat pin. Now, what I'm worried about is I probably should have made these 3 wide instead of 4, because I'd want them to be kind of smaller. That way we're sure to see the Padauk on the outside. What I don't want to do is turn away the Padauk. So we may end up sanding these down and sanding off one entire section, just depending on how they look when they're dry. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. I got hit with another great idea for a blank, and I'm super stoked about it. So I'm going to work on that. No filming. This is not about filming tonight. Tonight is about experimenting, because what I learned from this blank, because as soon as I got the idea for the blank and figured out how to make it, then I start getting all these ideas on how to twist it a little bit, right? And just do something, just make a change or a cut or do something different and give it a whole different effect. So I'm pretty psyched about it. So that's what I'm going to do tonight, is work on just learning and experimenting. And I'll keep you posted on some of it. We're going to hold a little bit of it back to make a video more interesting. All right, I will keep you updated. I've got a stop block glued to my table saw, and I've got my little brass spacers. They are 1/8 of an inch up to 3/8 of an inch. This is 1/2 of an inch away from the blade. And now we're going to use those, we can put them here and use them to set our fence so that we can cut strips of wood. Check it out. I've got all of my pieces cut. There's 4 of each size, and they go from 1/8 of an inch up to 3/8 of an inch. These are going to get glued into blanks here shortly, and you'll see what they're going to be. It took a little longer than I expected because my saw blade needs to be cleaned. It's got that tar or pitch on it, and it left some fuzzy, so I had to hit it real quick with some sandpaper. But I'm really happy. And of course I had to use a couple different pieces of wood because you don't want your hand to get real close to the blade, so I used longer sticks of wood. I got my blanks glued up. I don't know what happened over here, but this, look at that. I totally screwed up. I actually screwed that one up as well. That one's not too bad. Same size, same size, same size, same size, right? So that one's passable. This one, oh my gosh. I don't know what I was thinking, but I finally I caught the error of my ways, and now you can see this is what the blank looks like. These start out with the larger pieces at either end, then the smaller pieces of the opposite color. See, and as the brown or as the walnut goes down to the 1/8 inch piece, the maple goes in the opposite direction. So these are what I was going for. Now I'm thinking I can cut this into, this is just a little bit larger. Let me grab one of these tubes here. And you can see it's just a little bit larger than the tube. I wish it was a little better size-wise, you know, so that I could show the larger blank. But if I center the tube, I think it's going to look pretty cool. And I should be able to get 1, 2, 3, at least 3 blanks out of that, maybe 4. It'd be great to have 6 to 8 blanks. This one I'll go ahead and make blanks out of because it is symmetrical. It's just I didn't get it the opposite direction. I don't know what I was thinking. This one, oh Lord, I'm just going to throw that one in the burn pile. But I'm pretty excited about them. That's what I've been working on tonight. No video on that because really I just wanted to figure out the process and make sure I could do it. Turns out the process is easy. The worst part about the process was cleaning the hot glue off of my tabletop. Because I use hot glue, I used a stop block, and I just hot glued it right to the cast iron top of my table saw. And I thought, well, it won't be a big deal. I'll just take a brass putty knife, won't scratch anything, pop it under there and pop it up. No, that stuff held like, it was amazing. I ended up taking a shim, and I put a shim under there, and I drove it under with a hammer, and then the shim slowly broke the glue loose. And then I used denatured alcohol, which really, I think you should use isopropyl alcohol with hot glue, and it breaks it loose. It causes it to let loose. So we'll have to work on that. But the process was super simple. I mean, I've been out here for a couple of hours. Well, what time is it? I mean, it's 6:45. I've probably been out here 45 minutes to an hour, and I could have had 4 of them if I would have paid a little closer attention. And that was just some scrap pieces I had. And the other cool thing that it's hard to see, let me show you this. If you take a look at the blank, notice I cut them, the grain runs this way. There's no cross grain. I cut the wood off of the ends of the blanks so that everything is, it's going to be, the grain will be running with the tube. That's really all I've got for tonight. This idea hit me and I had to get out into the garage and work on it. I could do some work on my other blanks, but I didn't turn anything on except the fan, and I am burning up out here. But I feel good about that. I'm going to go in and edit this video. I'm going to think a little bit more about these blanks. I think I'll make some more of these blanks. You guys will see one of these turned. You'll get a chance to see if you like it or not. And then I probably will make another one, and maybe I'll use a little nicer wood. You know, what I'm thinking would look cool is Purple Heart and Yellow Heart, opposite directions. I just think that would look so cool. Those colors would really set each other off. So we'll see what happens. But for now, that's it for me. I'm calling it quits. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again real soon.